Hi, guys. Welcome to Soul Connections. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbe. Thanks for joining us here on Star Nations Radio Network, broadcasting through Be Live TV as part of Facebook. We are here for an evening of healing and divine messages, and this is a night that's all about you. What do you have in your life that you would like to shift or change? What would you like to bring into your life that you've been missing or wanting? And that's what the healing work is about. And the messages are to give you some guidance on whatever you would like to work on. This is a time when we can do our own self-care. Many of us are healers or caretakers who do for everybody else. And so we don't always take the opportunity to clear our own energy, refill our own battery so that we can actually be of help and of service to others. So thanks for joining us. And you can do us a hand by liking and sharing this broadcast out there in Facebook land. This allows us to reach more people who maybe need some healing themselves. As we spread the word, other people, the universe kind of gathers them together so that they can be here and get the messages they're looking for or the healing that they're looking for. So it's really nice to have this collection of people in the evening. And tonight I'm broadcasting from one of my favorite places. I'm in Maine, and it's been rather blustery, a lot of wind out here. And we're supposed to get a little snow overnight, but just a little bit, so I can manage that. And it's a place where I come to recharge. It's also a place where it's easy for me to focus when I have a lot of work to do. And my team told me on Sunday afternoon to pack my bags and get my fanny up here so that I could kind of release distractions and take care of what needed to be taken care of for me and my well-being. So thanks for you guys who reached out and asked me to make sure things were okay yesterday since we had the replay. And it was really that I just needed a little R&R time. You know how that goes. My school is coming to a close. My third-year students have only one more weekend with me. And so it was very intense work. And it was the first time that I had done that group in that fashion. So now I have a benchmark to know, what works for me. So thanks for understanding. But I'm feeling great tonight. I'm excited to reach out to you. And I just want to say a big thank you for Neshi for producing my show, because boy, without her on these, intense Wednesday nights, I would get a little drained. And this way I can kind of just stay in the zone and do the healing and the readings and, be there for you guys, whatever you need. So glad to have you. So we're going to get ready to get started. We're almost, 5 after. I like to start around 5 after. So again, if you haven't liked and shared the broadcast, please do. Even if you just send it through Messenger to one person who you think could use a little extra healing or who's been talking about it, and that would be fabulous. The cards we're using tonight, because I know a bunch of you really like to follow along with that. It is the Art of Love Tarot deck, and it's by Tony Carmen Salerno. I've been on a kick with Tony's artwork for a little while, but I'm really excited. I went to this cool store and bought some new decks for coming up for March and April, so we can break some in. I'm excited. And for those of you who know the tarot deck, this deck has a different vibration. It doesn't read like the traditional deck. So if you're trying to create a correspondence, you're welcome to try that. But I read them as my team is giving me guidance on them. So they don't always line up perfectly with how the traditional tarot is red, just so everybody is aware of that. All right, so we've hit 5 after.
Yeah.
Oh, and the ancient one's ready to get started. So let's begin by getting nice and comfortable. If you're sitting, you want to make sure that your arms and your legs are uncrossed. We want to keep our circuits wide open so that the divine flow can flow through us and not ricochet somewhere in our body. And you want to begin by calling in the divine energy, however you perceive that. So we're going to invite in whether you contact or connect with God or Goddess,
Yeah.
Creator, all that is, oneness, consciousness. We all connect in our own unique way. So invite that divine to join you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're going to ask the divine to surround and protect us in a bubble of infinite love and infinite light. And if we're feeling a little wobbly, we can ask the divine to even put a bubble of love and light around the room or the space that we're in, just so we can have a moment to feel safe and secure, knowing that this healing and the readings are for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now call in our spiritual team. And call in your whole team, even if you don't know them all of your angels, your guides, your animal totems, your ancestors, the ascended masters, the star beings, the mystical creatures, the gods and goddesses, all divine beings of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to us in this moment now. And the noises are simply me clearing and moving the energy for the entire group. And we're going to begin by allowing the divine energy to come to the crown of our head. And notice how it feels to be in connection. You may feel pressure, you may feel light or sense light, feel heat or tingling, cold. Whatever it is, just take a moment of recognition so that you know when the divine is trying to work with you, connect with you. And we're going to begin to call the healing divine energy in through the top of our head and have it come into our 6th chakra. Begin clearing away all of the debris that we have floating around in there, the wandering thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and patterns.
Got it.
And anything that may be distracting you from receiving this healing fully. So if you have energy that is pulled into the past, thinking about what was and wishing that you could have changed things or created something different, just bring your energy, your thoughts, and your focus into this moment, into your breath, into your heartbeat, whatever it is easiest for you to focus your attention on in this moment.
Got it. Got it.
And now notice if you have any energy that's distracted into the future, worried about what will be, what could be, all the things that you have to do on your to-do list. And just gently, again, bring your focus back to this moment, knowing that those lists and those tasks will all be there when you're done. And actually, you'll have more energy and more clarity to complete them with ease and grace.
Got it.
And I invite you to open all your channels of communication with your spiritual team so that you are able to receive messages more clearly, have a stronger knowing or a stronger understanding.
Got it. Got it.
And ask that all of your senses, your 5 feeling senses and your 6th sense, all begin to work together along with your divine connection to amplify your perception, giving you space for more clarity.
Got it. Got it.
And opening the eyes so that you can see fully that which is before you. Recognizing things that go unsaid through body language.
Got it.
And opening your ears so that you can hear clearly what others are trying to communicate to you, and so that they may hear what you are trying to say, what you need, you want, and you desire. Whether it is with others or your spiritual team, the divine. Just opening all the ways that we give and receive communication. And moving down into the throat and opening and expanding so that you have room to speak your authentic truth.
Got it. Yeah.
And releasing all the tension that you're holding in your neck and all the ways that you've bitten your tongue, held back saying what you needed to say, and allowing that energy to dissipate so that you can return to a state where you are able to take action from your heart center and not be in a place of reaction.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Really opening the pathways along the top of the spinal column as it connects into your skull and into your shoulder blades. And we often hold the energy of control in our neck and in our jaw. Really opening and expanding the ability to
Got it.
be with your circumstances, with your environment, and allowing the energy to flow. Releasing off your shoulders any burdens and responsibilities you've been carrying. whether you chose the responsibilities or not. And in this moment, for self-healing, you are allowed to release those responsibilities and pick them up when we are done. And noticing the tight spot between your shoulder blades. Where you've been looking for support from others. And had to use your will to get through making things happen. Now opening your heart center and allowing any old sorrow, sadness, disappointment, grief, shame, or blame to begin to dissolve. Anything that causes density around the heart, that makes your heart feel heavy, feel constricted. Asking for love and light to just open, melt, and dissolve all that no longer serves you. And opening the pathway of communication with your inner child.
God.
Finding out if your child is holding on to any trauma for you. Carrying any adult responsibilities. And making room for the child to have space for more joy, happiness, wonderment, and excitement to enter. And opening communication with your inner adult, the part of you that is so responsible for all of the doing. And giving the adult a moment to breathe, to be at peace, to pause and just be. Good, a lot of release there. And opening the communication with your inner warrior, the part of you that is ready to take action for your beliefs, to protect you and those you care about. And again, giving the warrior a moment of peace. You are perfectly safe in this moment. allowing the hypervigilance to quiet, breathing expansion into the heart and into your personal bubble so that you feel safe, full and complete. And connecting with your inner sage elder, the part of you that you have carried with you in each and every lifetime, who holds all the knowledge that you've ever accumulated. And opening the communication allows you to have a fullness and understanding without having to relearn what you have in other lifetimes. It can just gently pop into your knowing, into your awareness as you need it. Really allowing the lungs some room for the air to flow in and out evenly and completely, so that that beautiful oxygen can fill every cell, every part of your beautiful physical body. Breathing life into all of the tissues and organs and bones, and allowing the blood flow to be full and balanced. There you go. And moving down into the third chakra, just below your rib cage, and really allowing yourself space to release any old fear that you may be holding on to. Fear of not being enough or too much. Fear of failure or success. Fear that manifests as frustration, stress, overwhelm, or anxiety. There we go. And releasing any judgment or resentment that you have for others or others have for you. Including any old anger and righteous anger. And any energy that is squeezing your sense of self, your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-confidence. Anything that causes you to feel less than. Nice. A lot moving in there tonight. Good job. And moving down into your second chakra, beginning to release any energy around your emotions and any feelings that you've held on to without expression, any feelings that weren't safe to be expressed in your family of origin or in society, and inviting that energy to come back into balance. For when it is in balance, it allows us to give and receive evenly in all of our relationships with others, including objects. Releasing any toxic energy connected to old relationships where the giving and receiving wasn't equal, or toxic relationships with things like food, alcohol, drugs, money, internet.
God. God.
Whether those relationships were yours or ones that you experienced by being in relationship with others.
God. 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 God.
And really opening space for you to feel your feelings fully, for they are your radar. They speak to tell your heart what is your truth. They're indicators of boundaries being crossed by others, or you crossing them and feeling that dis-ease, that discomfort.
God. Yeah.
And opening the pathway through the hips, connecting to the first chakra below the tailbone, and releasing any last pieces of energy connected to your safety, being safe in your environment and in your physical body.
God. God.
And having balance in your job, in your finances, in your living situation, so that everything in your life has a nice, steady, solid foundation for you to feel grounded within your being and in all of your environments.
God.
And allowing the energy to continue flowing down your legs, past your knees, giving you more flexibility and adaptability to change. And past your calves and your shins, so that you are in control of your legs as you walk your personal path through your ankles and your feet, your toes, and allowing that to combine deeply within the earth. And you can either experience that as roots growing from your feet or a giant cord of connection from your tailbone down through the earth. Or you can envision Grandmother Earth coming up to meet you and holding on to your legs so that all of the energy that you have released can be composted deep within the earth's layers. and transmuted, transformed into beautiful new energy to help heal the planet. Healthy food and water and air for us to breathe.
God,
And taking a moment to connect to Grandmother Earth's heart, the very, very center of the earth, that molten lava core that holds the original energy of creation and the fullness of the divine feminine.
God,
And gently invite the energy to come up and begin to fill in all the places where you have released energy. Moving up through your feet and your ankles,
God,
through your calves and your shins,
God,
up through your knees, your thighs, all the way through your hips and your pelvic floor. Really filling the whole pelvic floor like a giant bowl, giving you a solid and full foundation, and bringing it up through your belly, filling and allowing your organs to be supported in all the hard work that they do to help you.
God,
And moving it up through your upper organs,
God, God, God,
and beginning to fill in your lungs and your heart.
God,
And as it fills in your heart, imagine a giant cup, your holy grail, in the center of your heart, filling with all the original energy of creation.
God, God,
And allows space for your heart to expand, to be fuller, and hold even more love and compassion for yourself and for others.
God, 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 God,
There we go. Now allowing it to roll down your shoulders, releasing all that extra tension down your arms and into your hands so that your hands hold all the healing energy,
God,
and allowing it to move up through your throat, the back of your neck, your jaw,
God, God,
up through your ears and your sinuses, your third eye, all the way to the top of your crown, and cascading over like a giant fountain, cleansing, restoring, and repairing your aura in all of its layers and all of the dimensions, in front and behind you, including behind your left shoulder blade and in the center of your heart,
God, God, God,
and on either side of you, including behind your right shoulder, and above you and below you. It goes way below your feet into the earth.
God,
And allowing it to restore in the physical layer,
God,
the emotional layer, the mental layer, the spiritual layer, and even through karmic debt and past lives.
God,
And now take a moment to send healing energy down to Grandmother Earth for all that she does to love and support us.
God,
And I invite our teams to send healing energy to those who have prayed or those who are in need for the good of all and harm to none.
God,
And take a moment of gratitude with your spiritual team for guiding you through this healing and through the messages yet to come.
God,
And now you can begin to dissolve your meditation. You can stretch or yawn, rub your feet on the floor, rub your hands together.
God,
Whatever works for you. Doing my little plug for Dunkin' Donuts. I have to have decaf coffee, so when you're not at home, you have to make do. And I was so shocked. Around where I live, they're open till like 10 o'clock at night, probably because we have colleges nearby. But they were getting ready to close, and it was 6. And I'm like, what? What about the poor people who are like need a cup on their way home from work? Like, I was so surprised, but apparently they're early birds here. So I got my cup just in the nick of time. Woohoo! All right. I'm just checking the names. And Neshi, I'm going to add one to the bottom. I think I can do that. Can I? Maybe. Doesn't want to go on there. There it is. Because I saw it on another lead. All right. All right. So we're going to start with the cards. And for those of you who know the drill, just type in your request, say yes, please. I will pull them in the order that they were requested. I had a couple requests that came into me ahead of time through Messenger. So I'm going to make sure to take care of those first so I don't forget. So the first one is for Janet. All right, so Janet, your card is the 9 of Angels. And the 9 of Angels is reminding you that you have guardian angels around you. They surround and protect you, especially when you ask for help. So if you're feeling wobbly or like you're in things alone, call on your angelic team to be there to help and support you, and know that you always have them. So when you have feelings of wanting to feel safe or wanting to feel protected, even when I'm doing tasks that are difficult, like when you've got to have a difficult conversation with someone, I bring in my guardian angels so that I feel like I have a team standing with me as I speak my truth. So they're reminding you to call on them because you've been getting into places where you feel like you're all alone, and that is not true. And you also have some people around you too that you could call on, some friends and stuff that maybe you haven't thought of. All right, Rob, your card is the beginning. So the beginning is one of the major arcana. It's the first one. So normally it's the Fool card, right, in the original tarot deck. In this deck, however, the beginning is more that you are going through, as you're entering this new chapter, you're going through an initiation. And so an initiation is a little different than sort of willy-nilly stepping on your path. It is a moment of, sorry, my team just got a little, two of them got noisy. I don't know if it's yours and mine talking together or what. So what they're saying is that, you know, initiations are generally harder. You often have to go through the fire to get to the other side. And so this is a part of your journey where things are not going to be easy, but this is all for your soul's evolution. So try not to whine and complain about it is what I'm putting it as nicely as I can. I think it's your team who's chatting to me right now. So things may be tough. You know, it's hard to go cold turkey on things, but that's what's needed. And this is like an initiation. It's seeing if you've got the stamina to do the next part of your journey the way you are meant to. And we've got to prove our strength sometimes. And so this is an indication that there's a really big reward at the end of this journey if you can kind of hang in there. Call on your spiritual team and call on your spiritual friends who can help hold you to your task. Keep your feet to the fire is kind of what I'm seeing. All right, Julie. So your card is the 10 of Stars. So the 10 of Stars in this deck, again, it's got a very different flavor to it. This is the hoarding energy. So this is when, you know, we've grabbed it all and we're holding it and we're not sharing with others because we're so afraid of losing what we have. But when we do that, then the divine can't send us anything new. We've taken up all our energetic space with what we already have. So when we have this holding on to energy, usually when I see that with clients, I tell them to start releasing. Start releasing clothes that you don't like, that don't fit. Go through your, sock drawer and get rid of anything that doesn't matches. If you have, underwear that doesn't fit well or rides up, like throw it out. Get rid of all the things that you're holding on to just in case. And, if you have books that you're not going to read again, donate them so that somebody else can have the joy of reading it. But when we hold on to stuff in this way, when we are holding that hoarding energy, the divine won't send you anything new because you're not open to sharing it with others. So it just feels very much like kind of like you need to do a spring clean purge kind of thing, and make room for new stuff to come in. All right, Joanne, your card is the King of Angels. And the King of Angels is a peaceful warrior. So this is calling on you to call on that part of you that has to be the peacekeeper. There's a lot of us who are the mediator in our family, or the peacekeeper in our family, and it takes a lot of strength. That's why it has a little more masculine energy to it than feminine energy. And it's calling on you to remember how to be that peaceful warrior. It's not always a battle. If we can stay in our heart energy, then we can take action rather than reacting. and the people around you are in a very reactive state. So this takes a lot of concentration and a lot of breath, but call in your peaceful warrior and ask them to help you navigate through the situation. Okay? All right, Christine. Your card is the 3 of Trees. This is such a lovely card. I love the hearts on it. The 3 of Trees is about joy. Yay! So this is about finding all the things, little things in life that bring you joy and focusing your attention on them. We can focus on all the things that are going wrong in our life, or we can focus on those things that we're grateful for. And one of the ways to remember how to bring more joy into your life is to do just that. Make a gratitude list, because there's something every single day that you're grateful for, even if it's, being able to get your favorite cup of coffee when you need it, right? So as you practice that, my team often has people do a gratitude list for 30 days to write something, at least one thing you're grateful for every single day. And you'll find that when you get to the end of it, it's like you're grateful for the beginning might be hard. You'll find like 2 or 3 things. And by the end, you could write like chapters, things that you're grateful for. So it's reminding us to look to the brightness and not into the dark. All right, Andrew, how you doing there, sir? I'm kind of nearby, if you're where I think you are. So you should message me if you want to meet up. So your card is the 4 of Angels. I had this card on Monday. This is the Rest card. The Rest card is when we've been in a place where we've like pushed, and we need to gather back our strength, our resolve, and just recharge our batteries, because when we don't take time to rest when our physical body really needs it, then we are inviting in things like illness to come in and take over, which force us to rest in a very not so happy way. So I invite you to find some ways to create some downtime, to really get some, turn off your phone, turn off the computers. I actually had a really cool time on Monday because the electricity went out. So it disconnected me from everything really rapidly. And at first I kind of was nervous, but then it was kind of exciting to be like, have one of those giant flashlights and, curled up with an Afghan. And it was something I needed to just disconnect, and, it gave me some rest time. So I invite you to do something like that. All right, Natalie, your card is the Queen of Hearts. And the Queen of Hearts is about opening up your sixth sense, opening your intuition, and really letting your intuition guide you. When your intuition is speaking to you, it will only speak to you in love and light. So if it's criticizing you or telling you something wrong, it's usually not our intuition. So really open up that connection, because the heart is all about our ability to feel everything, including what's going on around us. And trust your gut. A lot of people get a hit and then they ask somebody else their opinion, and that person may not be tapped into their intuition. So don't seek validation from other people. Just really check into what feels true for you and go with that. All right? Julie, yours is the Page of Trees. And I always love the dove that's coming up through the divine light between the trees. And the isn't that funny? The page of trees is all about like the dreamer kind of energy. And a page is on the beginning of a new journey, not always a soul journey, but they're like doing something brand new. And as part of that, it's inviting you to open up your possibilities, allow yourself to dream, allow yourself to envision things differently. And when we can get into that space, our inner child likes to come in and help us create. And that's when the magical things start to happen. And the two that keeps coming in, because I keep hearing two, is that you're often given two choices. And when you're given two choices, connect with each one and feel which one makes your heart sing and which one that you breathe easily. If your stomach is clenching, then it's not the right choice for you. Okay, because it keeps showing me that you keep coming up against two choices over and over again. And that'll help you through that. All right, Tina. Your card is the Two of Hearts. And in the Two of Hearts, it is all about coming together, creating this union where you're basically a united force. And this can be in your love relationship. This can be in a business partnership. This can be in a close friendship. But it's like you both have, your energy is focused on the same intention. You are working together to be co-creators. And this is all coming from a really beautiful heart space. So this is all in your heart's truth, in the other's heart's truth. And together, you have the ability to create some wonderful new things. I'm sort of seeing this like wave of energy, like coming out of the heart. It's like this wave of like love energy that's like clearing the path for new things to come in. So that's awesome. All right, Ashley. Your card is the Nine of Hearts. And the Nine of Hearts is all about stability. So what this is telling you right now is sometimes, you know, we want things to happen quickly. We want things, you know, to have this big like fireworks. And sometimes it's like the slow and steady race. And this is all about all of your energy right now is really stable. It's very grounded and it's really connecting to your heart's purpose. And from that place, it's really important for you to take moments of pause so that the ideas and the actions can actually come through you and get grounded, and then it allows you to take action. So don't be disappointed that it's happening at a slow pace, because it's a slow, consistent, growing pace. You're not going backwards. Everything is moving gently forward. Okay? All right, Anne. Oh, all right. This is a good card for that, Minnie. So this card is the Queen of Stars. And the Queen of Stars is the illuminator. So when the Queen of Stars comes up, and this is calling on you to shine your light. Illuminate your light in the area of darkness. Your heart is so beautiful and so bright that you can hold a lot of love and compassion and healing for many, many people, including yourself. So when you feel anxious or depleted, just call on your spiritual team to fill up your cup, because you are like shining this beautiful light for everyone around to see, and you're helping sort of be a beacon in the darkness, is kind of how I'm seeing it. So it's a very gentle love energy, but you are so strongly supported by your spiritual team. And Mother Mary has your back, quite literally. Like if you feel a presence behind you, that's her. Okay, so call on her to give you some extra support when you feel like you need it. All right, Minnie. This is one of the major arcana. This is the shadow. And the shadow is all about fear. And it's not a bad thing. You don't have to freak out. But this is calling into our brain, like, when do we listen to our inner critic? Our inner critic can like go, oh no, there's bad things coming. And if you believe that, you go off into fear land. But if you go, you check in with your heart and go, no, everything's happening the way it's supposed to. That's part of our soul lesson, is when fear comes up, do we go into the depths of it and do we create more fear? Do we spin fear in other people and in ourselves? Or do we face fear and go, no, I'm going to choose love in this moment, and I'm not going to go into the shadow. And thank you for reminding me that I'm a human being, and that we all can have those moments, but this is not the time for me right now. I am going to be in my heart space. And this is kind of that inner battle that we all have to go through at various points in our life and our time. All right, Laura. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I'm glad you joined us. Your card is the King of Trees. I love the King of Trees. He's got all this beautiful magic energy going on. The King of Trees is calling on you to be the creator of your own life. You are the architect. You are the builder. What are you building? How are you building your dream? How are you building your life? And if you don't like it, tear it down and make some new drawings and create again. So many people get stuck with, oh, this is what I've got. And it's like, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay in relationships and jobs and anything that doesn't serve you. So look around at your life and see what you would like to create, because you have this really cool doing energy that's on tap right now. And so use it, because this is a great time. We're heading towards spring. It's time to plant the seeds for the new life that you want to create this year. And so get to it. Start envisioning what you would like and create it. You're capable. All right, Jackie. All right, your card is the Four of Hearts, my dear. So this holds a lot of depressed energy. That's how I like to see it. Not like to see it, but it's a heaviness around the heart. And often this heaviness happens when we are concerned about what we have lost and we're not looking forward to what we already have and what is coming. It's when we sort of spin in the, oh, life was so much better when I was in high school kind of thing. But do you remember how angsty and horrible high school felt? And like, have you romanticized it, right? To the point where it's bigger than it ever was as creation. So this is telling you to look and listen to the heaviness that's in your heart. See if it's in this moment now, or if it has strings or strands that are attached to the past. And anything that's coming up from the past, send it love and healing, and do your best to allow that energy to dissolve, because it will just be dragging you down and making you feel sluggish and tired, okay? And just so you know, my team is like just popped in at my website for the trinityhealingsanctuaries.com. There is a really good blend that's called the Grief Blend. And it really helps with anything that's depressing and compressing your heart energy. So that might be something you would like. All right, Barbie. Your card is the Page of Hearts. So the Page of Hearts is, you know, pages are kind of like on a beginning of a journey. And so the Page of Hearts has this like childlike wonder and innocence. And so it's inviting you to tap into the inner child and allow the inner child to kind of lead you right now. We get so busy adulting and we try to make things happen all the time. And then our inner child gets really cranky. And when that happens, everything feels like a chore. So this is calling on you to allow that innocent wonder to come in, to really explore what you're doing and how you're doing it, and see how you can bring more joy and happiness to it. It's almost like you need to be skipping, skipping with and blowing bubbles, because children don't worry about, paying the bills, in 3 weeks, right? They're just like in the moment. That's what it's inviting you to do, is to really get yourself in the moment and find that joy place. All right, Mary. Yours is the King of Hearts. And the King of Hearts is a healer. He is able to really open up his compassion to help other people. And so when the healer card comes up, it's inviting you to access your inner healer. This is often for other people, that you have people around you who could use your wisdom, who could use your light, who could, use a break from spinning in their own craziness. Because lots of times people get spinning in their story, and when they do, they're really ungrounded and they can't see a way out. So it's like you are sitting and being this like wise one, listening, holding space, and then offering kindness. And sometimes kindness is a cup of tea at your kitchen table, and sometimes it's a hug, sometimes it's a smile at a stranger, and sometimes it's just thank you. But really activate the ways that you are able to send healing out, because you have a unique gift that other people are needing at this moment. So get to it. We need you. All right, Nancy. Your card is also one of the major arcana. It's called the Awakening. So in this deck, the Awakening is really about you coming into a place where you are really aware of what's going on around you. You are really in alignment with your soul and with the divine. And it's a moment where you're coming to a new version of yourself. It's like you're coming up out of the water. And as you're coming up out of the water, you're cleansing and purifying and leaving behind all the struggles that you've gone through to get to this point. It's like you've come out of the fire and you're reborn. And so this is a chance for you to sort of step forward into a new version of Nancy and really entertain how that feels for you. And how can you embody that more fully? Because other people sometimes don't like it when we change and we grow, but this is your soul. And so when we emerge as a fuller version of ourselves, it allows us a chance to really do things differently, including relationships with other people. So you're sort of emerging as this new force to be reckoned with, but in a beautiful and loving way. Okay? All right, Rowena. Of course. Ah, the Magician card. So the Magician is, again, another one of the major arcana. So these are the major arcana are cards that are about your soul's lesson, what your soul is doing, not just what's happening around you at the moment. And so you are on the beginning of a new journey. And in this place, it's reminding you, as the Magician, you have all the tools in your toolbox that you need. Spirit is not sending you into this new journey empty-handed. You have everything you need to complete this lesson and complete this task. Remember that, you have your spiritual team behind you, and you can call on them anytime you need them. You need their guidance and their assistance. And be a little cautious, because the Magician can be a little impulsive. Sometimes we leap before we look, that kind of energy. And so even though you're excited and want to get started, check in with your heart as you're making decisions and make sure they're in alignment with your full purpose, okay? All right. Pat. Another major arcana. It's Big Soul Night. Your card is the Emperor. And the Emperor in this card is very much a father figure. And, people sometimes wonder, like as women, why we draw the male cards. Are we having a drawing for somebody else? No. There are times when we have to call on the divine masculine within ourselves to complete what we're needing to do. And a father is different than a mother, right? Because a mother is very loving and nurturing and soft. And a father is loving, but he is often has very tight boundaries, has very clear rules about what is okay and what's not okay. And so it's calling on you to call on the Divine Father within you, because we all have both, and really make some decisive choices. Sometimes we worry too much about what other people think. This is not the time for that. This is time to look within your soul and come up with the answers for yourself. What I'm hearing is, I don't know, should fall out of your vocabulary for a while. Okay? Because often we say that when we're afraid. And so you can always say, let me think about it. But I wouldn't use I don't know. You may get a little spirit backlash from that. So use that decisive energy, even if it's to say, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Okay, because that's still very decisive. All right, Marie. Oh, thank you. So tonight is the Two of Angels. The Two of Angels is all about creating balance. This is a time when we often feel like we're juggling. Everything is up in the air and it feels very chaotic. And even though things haven't fallen, it feels like they could any second. This is about bringing yourself into balance. And that's bringing your spirit in balance with your physical body so that they're working as a team. Because lots of times when we try to make things happen, we're doing it all with our physical body, and we're not allowing room for intuition and our team to guide us. So the key to this kind of uproar kind of energy that may be coming up or is coming up for you right now is to really stay grounded, stay focused, and don't allow yourself to go into overwhelm. Remember to breathe and to focus and ask for help when you need it, because a lot of us aren't good at that. And don't assume somebody's not going to help you because they said no before. Okay, if you need help, ask. And if you do it from your heart, most people will respond. All right. Jessica. All right, yours is a soul card as well, dear. Yours is called the Retreat. And this is calling you to sort of step out and go into a place of contemplation, kind of like I've been doing. So this is when you kind of detach and you give yourself some space. And this is what your soul needs. It's not just what your physical body needs, but your soul needs to come back to a place where you two are communicating fully and completely, and your soul feels heard and you feel heard. And if you're having that situation around you where you feel like other people aren't listening or they didn't hear what you said, that's a really strong indicator that you and your team are a little bit out of balance. So find some way to kind of give yourself a retreat, give yourself a couple days to breathe, disconnect from, your phone, the internet, whatever it takes to help you kind of get some time to go in communion with your spirit, open up communication with yourself, because that's how you'll have it with other people. Okay? Allie. All right. Your card is the Two of Stars. So the Two of Stars really calls on our energy to get out there and be bold. And so I always see the boldness as the female warrior, or at least when I pull the card for women, it's very much a female warrior. So a female warrior has that heart energy, but she's fierce. And boldness is required when you really have been kind of wishy-washy. So when you're like, I don't know, maybe it's okay, and then people walk all over you and you start to feel like a doormat. And I'm feeling like you learned that from your mom. So this is a time to go, that's not how I'm doing it. I'm saying what I need, I'm saying what I want, and I'm doing it from my heart, not in an angry, reactive way. Okay, this is not about being aggressive. This is about standing up for yourself and taking a chance. And that taking a chance could be the other person saying no. But when you speak your truth in that bold way, even a no feels good, because at least you were able to put yourself out there. And you're kind of hiding in the background a little bit. And it's really time for you to step up. And I know you've heard that from me before. We've talked about you not using your spiritual gifts, and that's really not going to help you long term. So that's coming up too. Really put yourself out there how you want to. All right, Christina. Good card for this weekend. King of Stars. The King of Stars is an alchemist. Not like we're reading alchemical healing or anything for school. The alchemist is the person who is in charge of controlling their own life and changing their own life to be what it's meant to be. If you don't like something in your life, change it. Does this sound at all like school? And throat chakra on top of it. So you're in this energy of being very decisive. And this is a male energy again, because this is to really be boldly out there. Again, very similar to Allie's card about being bold. But this is really standing in your transformation You own it, you do it, you create it. And yeah, let's get to it. Sounds good. All right. Bobby. Of course, my dear. Your card is the Queen of Angels. I love that her heart is connected to her throat and her third eye, and her wings are out. This is all about action from a place of vision. So, as the female, you use your intuition, you use your emotions to guide you to what you envision for your future, what you envision for your next step, even what you envision for sort of like the collective whole. And, you know, I'm going to add a cautionary word. We can't vision for our children unless they're young, under like 12. But as a visionary, we can really create the environment for our children to step into their own vision and their own truth. So we kind of can create a sacred container. So this is calling on you to really envision sort of a new pathway for you. And I don't know if you do artwork, but I'm seeing a lot of creative endeavors. So I'm feeling like your creativity is going to shift and change. Like maybe you're going to take up a new medium that you haven't done before. But it's going to be beautiful because you're calling in all the right energy to do it in an amazing way. Can't wait to see. All right, Maureen. Oh, thank you. So this is the 8 of Hearts. Woohoo! Lots of love. And the 8 of Hearts in this deck is, you know, reminding us, we just did generational healing, right, in school, that we're very codependent. We're very connected to other people. And that's how we're supposed to be, you know, because we're meant to work together and we're not meant to be alone in this life. So look at anywhere where codependent relationships aren't working for you. And, you know, if they're not working for you, then it's time to shift them. And for ones that are, honor that you have a, you know, an interconnectedness that allows you to share love in the way that you do. But to bring in new love into your life, you want to make sure that you've cleared all the old codependent behaviors that you no longer want in a future relationship. That's interesting. Enjoy that one. All right, Ellen. So your card is a soul card as well. It's the Lovers. And the Lovers card is all about coming together. And, you know, you have been in this struggle of living your life in a particular way. And it's interesting that you come after the codependent card, right? So when the lovers come together, they come together complete and whole. They're not coming from a place of lack. And when they join together, they create something beautiful. They create a new being in a way, because when we're in a complete relationship where we're balanced, that relationship takes on the energy all by itself. You know, there's Ellen's energy, Ellen's love's energy, and Ellen and the love together's energy. They're 3 separate identities. And when you come into the union, you don't collapse your energy and the lover doesn't collapse their energy. So this is reminding you that when you come together, to come together in a whole, full place, because this is part of what your soul is trying to learn how to do. And it's still talking about, I still see you picking up and moving, babe. I know that you didn't want to hear that, but I'm getting it really strong. Like they're really clear that, you know, it's time for you to shift. And I think it has to do with coming together with the other. All right. So Marilyn. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the meditation. So your card is the Eight of Angels, my dear. And look at that the water is surrounding the angel. The angel is like up to the belly in water. And the Eight of Angels has a lot of emotional confusion around it. So it's like what I'm seeing is like spinning in the head, like thoughts and ideas and beliefs that they're not very grounded, but they're taking a lot of your focus and your attention. And it also leaves us open to get a lot of mixed signals from other people. It's almost like incomplete sentences, and you're having to guess what they mean by that. So the angel is reminding you that this is all sort of dark water energy, dark emotional energy. So try to be as grounded as you can when you're dealing with this kind of energy, and listen to what your emotions are saying to you. They will light the way. If you feel angsty and uncomfortable, then that's because something is not okay. And if you feel like, your breath is really tight, again, that it's like that signal. And then you know that, maybe the person isn't giving you all the information, that kind of thing. And it's not in a judgy blame kind of way. It's like giving you some clarity in all of the chaos. All right. Suzanne. Is that who's next? I have Suzanne Moreau Longtu. Neshi and I are my co-pilot and I have to be on the same plane at the moment. All right. So Suzanne, your card is the Wheel. It's also one of the major arcana. In the regular tarot deck, it looks like the Wheel of Fortune. And in that, you kind of spin it and all the possibilities are open to you in the original tarot. In this deck, though, it shifts because this is saying that you have everything that you need, all the possibilities are there, and you're about to be on the verge of a breakthrough. Woohoo! All of that kind of stuck energy that's been like holding you back is ready to like burst through. When you have the breakthrough occur, go with it, because that energy will last you as long as you're aligned with it. If you second guess it, or you're like, oh, well, it's really nothing, or, diminish it, then the brakes will get pulled on right away. So as you break through, continue forward in the new direction that you're headed, and be okay with that, and don't look back. If you look back and be like, well, what about, then the brakes are going to come on, okay? This is a big test to see if we're in alignment with our spirit. All right, Cindy Lynn. I know Neshi's getting it. There we go. All right. So your card is the Page of Angels. And the Page of Angels is inviting you to tap into your mystic abilities. And a mystic is a divine psychic. In the ancient times, we would have been called oracles or a channel, people say now. But a channel can also channel people from the other side. It doesn't have to be the divine energy. So a mystic is when you really tap into the connection to the divine. You're open to how to be a co-creator and be in connection. It's calling on some sort of magical quality with you. And really inviting you to step into the things that bring you joy around your divine connection. I feel like there's some rituals that you have fallen away from that used to bring you joy, but that really expanded and opened your heart and allowed you to feel the connection fully. So it's inviting you to tap back into that mystical quality. Mysticism isn't bad. I mean, Jesus was a mystic. So allow yourself some space to be in that place, because it's really about expanding your heart and the divine connection within you. That's very lovely. All right, Kimberly. There we go, of course. I don't know, I'm gonna have to talk to my team about all these soul cards here. So your card is the release. Another one of the major arcana. And the release is about, it's a different form of transformation. This is when you go through a metamorphosis. You release all that doesn't serve you anymore, and it allows you to come out of the cocoon and become the butterfly. So literally shedding the old you to transform and transmute into the new you. And I feel like this end of winter time, it's like you're still in that, what is that called? Is it homeostasis, when you're like stuck right before it opens in the spring? So I feel like you're going to open and bud like a flower in the spring, and you're kind of going to step out of the lotus, a whole new Kimberly, which is really, really cool. So even if you feel like you're in a holding pattern and you're waiting right now, just let that be, because the reward will be well worth it. Yay! All right, Natasha. Oh, of course, my dear. You have the Knight of Hearts. And the Knight of Hearts, Natasha, is, he really holds this kind of romantic version of a knight. You know, we think of some knights are there to sort of rescue the damsel in distress. It's not saying that you're the damsel in distress. It's saying more like you have that romantic quality of really wanting to help others and really trying to be there. And so make sure that when you're doing that, that you're doing it from a heart space and a very loving space, rather than a rescuing somebody because they need you space. Because that's when we start to enter the shadow version of the romantic knight, when they think they're the only one who can save the damsel. That's not empowering the damsel, right? So this is about really opening your heart in a loving and romantic way. And I'm also getting that indication of, you know, men need romance too. You know, women are always wanting it, you know, because we kind of want that night energy. But men like to be told they're handsome and that you like what they're wearing, or that you appreciate them and all that they do for you, or, you know, making their favorite meal. It's those little things that shows somebody else you care about them. So don't be afraid to be the romantic. You know, we don't have to wait for our knight to come riding in. All right, Jan. No, never too late. I go until the end. All right. Your card is another soul card. You're in the Empress. And this is the Divine Mother card. So the Empress is coming to her soul's lessons from a place of loving and nurturing. She's still in control of her kingdom. She's still in control of her soul and her soul's lessons and her life purpose, but she's doing it from this loving, gentle space. And I often see this as like Gaia and her Mother Nature, as she's walking around in the gardens and she's loving up all her creations, her animals and her flowers and her trees. And it is all her kingdom. And that is true for all that is around us. And if we treat it, everything and everyone with love and respect, then we receive love and respect back as the Empress. Okay? All right. Teresa, of course. Woo! Your card, the 10 of Angels. This is a tough one, babe, sometimes. The 10 of Angels is the surrender card. It is time to give up on this endeavor. It is done. It is over. It is, stick a fork in me. When we get to that point, we've done everything possible, humanly possible, divinely possible, but there are times when it's best to drop everything and set forth on a new beginning. In the original tarot deck, the guy's laying down on the ground, he's got 10 swords in his back, and it's like he could not be deader. But depending on how you look at the card, for me, every time I see that, there's all this dark descending, but the sun's rising. And for me, it's like what's old is done, is complete, and there's a new beginning on the horizon. So start looking to the horizon for what is coming, what is birthing, and stop looking back at what is over and done. Okay? Hope that helps. All right, Jacqueline. Of course, my dear. Your card is the 3 of Trees. And the 3 of Trees is, sometimes it's seen as the friendship card. In this deck, it is the dedication. It's that energy right now that when we're doing creation energy with the divine, there are a couple things that we need. We need focus, we need intention, and we need direction for the intention. So this is about dedicating your intention and your vision and really creating it with a very intense focus. In Buddhism, they talk about single-pointed focus, where you are laser beamed on the one thing and you allow any other distractions to melt away. It's true for meditation. It's true for manifestation. So this is about you really putting dedication in. And I'm not seeing it dedication in terms of you have to work hard. It's that you need to really align and narrow your focus so that you are creating from exactly what you want and how you want it. And then notice if things aren't quite going right. Notice if maybe you need to change how you're phrasing it. Because words are powerful. So if we don't have quite the right wording, we don't quite get what we want. All right? All right, Janice. Oh, nice, of course. I'm sorry life has been rough. Means you've been going through some tests, my dear. This is a good card for you. So this is the Five of Angels. And notice she's standing in this purple thing. For some people, they see a flower like the lotus, and some people see the purple flame. And I'm being guided to tell you it's the purple flame, like the healing energy from Saint Germain, okay? And so the healing energy from Saint Germain, when that comes through, it's asking you to withdraw yourself from all the things that are creating chaos for you. And what that can mean is you don't respond, to the text messages right away. You don't respond to the phone calls right away. You let it go to voicemail, and give yourself some space to breathe, because right now you're kind of inundated with everybody else's energy, and it's really hard to feel what's just you. It's almost like you've absorbed your whole family and work, like everything is kind of like attached to you. I'm also going to really invite you to do some energetic cord cutting, cord releasing, so that you're not walking around with everybody else's energy influencing you. And if you don't know how to do that, on one of the chakra sessions, it has cord removal in the title, and you can look it up on my fan page or on the YouTube site, because it'll let you know how to do that. And there's a really good blend that I have that's called Release Your Story. And it helps you release all the things that people have created to tell you who you are, rather than you being able to feel who you are on your own, okay? And if you need some help, just keep checking in here. We'll be happy to help. All right, Shirley. Of course. Your card is, here we go, another. There's not that many. There's 22 soul cards. We might have them all. Here's number 7. So this is the path. And in this deck, it's showing, I don't know if you can see the light. There's like a path and there's bright light. I think of it as the yellow brick road, to be truthful. So what this is saying is that it's time for you to go exploring. What are the new options that have been coming up to lay before you? What are new things that it's been coming up for you to try? And we don't learn to change if we don't take the risk of trying something new. And use your inner child to go exploring with you. Because isn't that the one who would love to skip down the, yellow brick road? Those of us who are adults would be like, well, I'm not taking that road. I don't know where it goes. There's no signs, but the inner child is like, ooh, look at the pretty bricks and all the flowers and let's go. And the child is where all the discoveries happen, right? When all the magic happens, when all the joy happens in our lives. So it's time for you to kind of push out of your comfort zone a little, sweetie, and start exploring some new ideas and new possibilities, because your team has been putting a whole bunch of, hey, why don't you try this? Hey, why don't you try that? And just pick one. It can't hurt. And it might allow you to meet some new people and create some new friendships too. All right? Because I'm seeing a lot more joy and community by you stepping out and exploring your path. All right, Christine. And yet another soul card. Yours is the teacher. I pull this card quite a bit. So this card, the teacher is part of your soul card. And this is calling you to get really clear. And when it says get really clear, it's we all are going through lessons. This is a time where you're going through learning. And you're in the role of the teacher, which means you're the one who is imparting knowledge at the moment. And are you doing it from a loving heart space, or are you doing it because somebody else ought to know better? And so this is about teaching us how to be a teacher with humility, with grace, and to empower other people. That's one of the things that people make a mistake. They step into the teacher role as a know-it-all, and truly nobody really wants to learn from that person. They want to learn from someone who wants to help them learn, and who treats them like they're capable of learning. So this is time for you to get really clear on how you are meant to mentor others, how you are meant to be a guide at the moment and a teacher, and call on your spiritual team to really help you get some clarity on that, because the teacher is really easy for people to slip into shadow, especially if we're having trouble sitting in our heart space. And I'm feeling like you're having a little wobbly with your heart space. And I invite you to use some rose oil if you can find it, or rose quartz, to help your soul and your heart strengthen, so that you can have the clarity that you need to get through this next lesson. All right, Katie, of course. Your card is the Three of Stars. And I love that it looks a lot like fireworks. And so the Three of Stars is really about, you have a lot of brilliant ideas that are coming through. Boom, 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 like fireworks. And so those visions are there to help you move forward in your life. Don't dismiss them, even if they seem kind of outrageous. Start keeping a vision journal or a dream journal of those magical things that you wish you could create, even if they seem far-fetched, because it's really expanding your intuition. It's really expanding your contact with your spiritual team, because they're really trying to figure out what you really want. And so you're having lots of ideas, but they don't know what you would like to take action on. And when we write things down and say, I would love to do this someday, or I would love to be this someday, then our team knows that that's something they can start bringing to you, even if it seems crazy and out there, okay? So really allow those beautiful fireworks of new ideas to take root by getting them grounded onto paper, okay? And I see this beautiful journal, like with all these bright colors on it. Like, it's joyful just to pick up the book to write your ideas in, all right? All right, Crystal. Your card is the Eight of Stars. And the Eight of Stars is when we have all this energy kind of coming together to create kind of a power surge. Now, we have two choices when a surge of energy comes in. We can get knocked off our feet because we're ungrounded. It can bowl us over, or we can feel it coming, we can harness it, and we can use it to propel us forward. So that's what's coming through, is that there's all this energy building and you're in this kind of decisive place. Is it going to use you, or are you going to use it? And knowing that that energy is coming in for you to use it, you don't have to be victimized by it. That's when we get bowled over. When we're like, oh, this keeps happening to me. You know, but when we're like, oh my gosh, I can feel all this cool stuff ready to explode, use it. Set that intention, set that focus, and allow yourself to channel that extra energy to really propel yourself forward. And it's all up to you. You get to choose. You know, are you going to, you know, go forward, or are you going to get knocked over? I'm somebody who, even if it's, I see a tsunami, I want my surfboard and I want to be on top of it. I don't want it crashing over me. Even though I can't surf, I'd rather be up there going, ah, than being like plowed over, right? So it's up to you, but you know what I would do. All right, Doreen. Another soul card. It is the night to learn our soul's lessons. I love it. So this is the turnaround card. This is very, very different than the major arcana. So the turnaround card is that things have been going a certain way in your life for a long time, and enough is enough. So the divine is saying it's time for you to stand up for yourself and rebel. Everybody has to go through this kind of rebellion, and it feels, it's called a revolution card, but it's basically taking the same old and flipping it on its tail. And it's interesting because I'm actually seeing that section in the Bible where like Jesus is flipping the tables because he's like, this is not how it's supposed to be in the house of God, right? And so he got really mad, but he was mad because it wasn't working for him and for a lot of other people. So when you stand up to the energy that is the same old, and it's not working for you and it's not working for the people around you, it's okay to create change and turmoil, to breathe some new life and new air into a really old, stuck situation. I feel it's kind of like, just because it's always been done that way doesn't mean it's the right way. And it's time for that to shift, and the situation that they're talking about. All right, Emily. All right, your card is the 7 of Hearts. And the 7 of Hearts is saying, that you've got a lot of choices that are coming up for you, which can be overwhelming in its own way. We can get stressed out when we don't feel like we have any choice. And we can get overwhelmed when we feel like there's too many choices. And I'm going to bring the card back up because look at her third eye. I don't know if you notice. For me, I see it's almost like a peacock feather. And so that is when we see the symbol of the peacock, that is the divine feminine. That is the goddess energy. That is inviting you to open your intuition from the divine feminine perspective. So as you are making your choices, as these choices are coming up, you connect to your heart and you choose to do it in the divine feminine energy, which is from a place of compassion, love, and understanding. And it's not, putting down the guillotine to do it. It's not like, Alice in Wonderland, the queen off with your head. This is really about being in that place of what is the best thing for me to do and what is the best way for me to do it and what's in alignment with my heart. If it makes your stomach hurt, I've said this a number of times tonight, then it is not the right choice for you. If it makes you hard to breathe, it's not the right choice for you. But if you're like, then that's the one to go with, okay? And it's okay when you're faced with a lot of choices to sometimes say, I'm going to need a few days to decide. Because sometimes people try to bully us into making decisions when we're not ready. So you can use your love and your heart and your compassion to make your choice in your own timing. All right? All right. And the last card for Neshi. Yay! The Ace of Stars. Woohoo! Aces are gifts from the divine, and this one is of creation and abundance. Basically, handing you the golden coin of creation. And really just inviting you to, as you always do, call on your spiritual team, call on the divine to assist in all that you're working on and creating, because right now you kind of have the Midas touch when it comes to the divine energy. So that's it for tonight, guys. Thanks for sticking through to the end of the show. And I will see you next week. Next Tuesday, I will be going back to redo the chakra sessions, healing with the ancient Egyptian Akashic energy. Big, powerful stuff. The ancient Akashic energy can work on generational healing, folks. It can work through your family lineage. If there are things that your family has been dealing with over and over and over again, you can start to heal that. So join us on Tuesday at noon for that, and I'll be back Wednesday night here at 7 Eastern Standard Time for healing and divine messages. And with that, you guys have a beautiful rest of your evening, and we'll talk soon. Bye.